Hi, this is Paul Kinkowski with Property System Champions, and I'm here on another episode. We're going to be talking with Tiffany Rosenbaum about what she's doing in her business and how it's going. This is getting ready she's going to be speaking at the Systems Conference in Las Vegas the last week of January, January 23rd through the 26th. And she's going to be one of our amazing speakers. Let's just introduce Tiffany. Tiffany, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hi, I am Tiffany Rosenbaum. I am out of Arizona with Rosenbaum Realty Group, and we manage about 500 units, and we have a long-term and short-term rental division.
And you have what? What was the last part?
A maintenance company, sorry.
And how many doors do you manage about?
We have about 500.
Okay, great. And what is your favorite tool, just a normal property management tool that you use every day in property management?
So the tool that we really use right now is Lead Simple with Zapier. And so we can zap things out and into Lead Simple. Lead Simple has been a game changer for us because it can document all of our processes. It's something that makes training less time because it documents everything. So it helps everybody know what to do and how to do it and when it needs to be done by.
So all your softwares, that's your favorite software?
That is probably my favorite software. And it's probably the easiest to use, to be honest. I have multiple softwares, so yes.
What is your property management software?
My property management software is Propertyware, and it does link. It doesn't have autopilot yet, but they're working on that. But there is a daily link to it. Daily update.
That is great. So what is a hidden gem software? Something that most people probably, Lead Simple, Propertyware, those are things people kind of know about. What's something that you do that's just one of those things that you're like, probably a lot of people aren't using this?
Ooh. I would have to say, and it's probably not the correct answer that you're looking for, but I would have to say my process architect team and my audit team and my training team. So it's not a software, but it's a team that I've put together inside my company that does all the processes for me, trains my team on the processes, and then audits the processes and what my team is doing to make sure our data is correct. So
that's exactly what I'm looking for, is something that's out there, and that's definitely out there because I don't even know what that means. So can you explain that a little more detail? So you've set up a team. Is their whole job to do processes, or is that just that they do different times of the day they're doing it?
No, this team is fully 100% on process architects. I have 2 process architects, and within that team, and then I have 2 auditors. And this team will go and build all my processes, and then they train anybody new that I'm coming into my team. They train them on it, and then they also audit it and run the KPIs to make sure things are actually being done. So I built this team out as an investment to make sure. I feel like in property management, people get bombarded and drained on training. And I don't think people get the proper training that they need. So I brought this into my team so that people are focused just on that.
So basically, someone comes in new, this team is responsible for making sure that they can get their job done. So this team not only has to build processes out, they have to know how the company runs. And so I love this. When I was towards the end of my company, I would say hello to a new employee, and my next response was, well, I'll see how you're doing in a week. And they're like, what? I'm like, oh, you won't talk to me for at least a week. And in a week, I'll just check in and say, how's things going? Because I didn't spend time training them because, again, like you, mine wasn't a whole team. I had one person that was in charge of my process, in charge of training, in charge of employee retention, to keeping them so that they would last. And you had to I think it's really important you find the right mix of people, because a lot of times training is really difficult. If someone doesn't have a kind, in the first week, people fail big time. And if you think that they're just a failure, some of my best employees were employees that after a week my team said we should fire them. They're stupid. And I'm like, no, they probably just don't understand property management. Like, give them a chance. Are they on time? Are they trying? Yes, they're trying. They're on time. Okay, well, let's give them a chance. If they're not on time and they're not trying, let's fire them. But if they're doing that, have you noticed that too, that you're getting more people that at the beginning they might not think are rock stars, but then once they get trained right, they're really good because they're really good at doing things in order and the way you want?
Yes, 100%. So what we did is when our trainer came on, because he actually came from PlayStation and he was the trainer on PlayStation to make sure everything went smooth. And we had an employee that I was like, I don't know if she's going to make it. I really don't. And so he came to me and said, okay, here's a training plan. This is what I'm going to do. And so he meets with her and literally things changed overnight. It was interesting. I think half the time we fail because the team members don't get the training that they need and the support they need, especially in property management, because property management is such a fluid business and it's always high speed and it's always changing because of laws. And so training has to be a big implementation with this. And so that's what we did. So we have a trainer, we have auditors, and it's just this team of 4 now that completely take over this and make sure it happens.
Are any of those team of 4 going to the conference?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
How many of them?
So one of them is because he can travel to the U.S. And he is the oldest out of them. He's the manager of them. So he will be there. His name is Jonathan. And he will be there at Lead Simple's conference as well as along with yours as well. So he's going to both.
I'm thinking that I know we have your topics and we're going to go over those now, but I'm thinking we need to switch one of your topics because what you're talking about is fascinating me. And
I would love to talk about this. And
I think we should. So we'll have to talk about your topics. We're going to talk about your topics, but there's a good chance we're going to add this to our topic. And we're going to have Jonathan be in there with you so that they kind of question and answer. Because to me, the fact that have a training team, you're investing money and training, and you're taking that off of your plate because a lot of entrepreneurs are really good at creating stuff, but we're not really good at teaching because we're just too, how should I say this? Too, not antsy, but we're just too quick. We don't have time to sit.
Well, not only that is if I'm training someone, I can't build the business. I'm not focusing on building the business. So the problem is owners or their directors start training, but then they're not focusing on what needs to happen to actually build the business. And so in essence, we start losing because we're training and we're not focusing on what we're supposed to be focusing on. And so, to speak honestly, that means my numbers are not as good as the next door neighbor's numbers because I am investing in this right now. But I can tell you it is paying dividends that I'm already seeing. So give a year and I can't wait to see what it does on my return.
So how many people are a part of this team? Is it 3 or 4?
4.
So 4 people are dedicated for 500 doors for training, creating the processes and making things go smooth.
Not only that, it's over my culture. So my company's culture, these people are over as well. Actually, one of them's over it. So right now we have a running challenge that he's on top of, a review challenge and a weight loss challenge. And he's also looking into the goals that we're going to be implementing in 2024. He's looking for a place if we hit our goals where the entire company can fly to without problems, because some people can't fly to the US, some people can. So we're trying to figure out a place that we can go to, and he's over that as well. So it's culture, it's process architects, and it's auditing the system and training. So
that's really cool, and I think that's so necessary. I know with some of the bigger companies, they might have a team of 6 or 7 people, but they have 25,000 doors. And for you to do it with 500 doors or 4 people, I mean, technically to get systems in place to get things going, you need people. You need that, whether you have 200 doors, 500 doors, 25,000 doors, you need to invest resources into doing that. And by investing those resources, as I was saying on another thing, you make more money because as people are trained well, there's less mistakes, which means less churn. And the biggest thing is, what is the number one thing we forget to charge, which you are a queen of, and that is fees. When you have good processes, those fees don't get missed. I was amazed that when my processes got better, my income dramatically rose because we weren't forgetting late fees. We weren't forgetting fees for going out and dropping off this. We weren't forgetting fees for taking an owner's trash can in, which was not our job, but we do it. We weren't forgetting those fees because they in the process, you had to do that fee. And the biggest thing is employees will be like, go through it and be like, I'm just not going to charge that. Well, when you have a process set up, they have to charge it, or they have to give a detailed reason in the process why they're not charging it. What's the reasoning? And it's much quicker to charge it than to give the detailed reason, which came to me.
100%. And also, we have an auditor that checks every lease renewal and every lease and the auto charges to that, because not only do some people forget, but it's very simple to accidentally hit the wrong account that it goes to. So if it went to a different account, all of a sudden the owner's getting that money instead of me or the company. And the reason why I charge fees and the reason why I charge what we charge is because to have quality, you have to charge a certain amount. And the whole reason why I got into the business was to help investors make money, build wealth for generations to come. And you can't do that if you're a cheap property management company. Because the end all, let's be honest, management fees only keep the lights on. They do not pay the bills or actually bring in money.
Yeah, well, I was doing a workshop on fees, on my renewal fee, and some guy went up and said, I thought you'd have the worst reviews possible, and I looked at your Google ratings and you're like a 4.8, 4.7, something like that. I'm like, people don't mind paying fees if they get good service. They just don't want to pay for nothing. They don't want to pay for bad service, bad things. I mean, people get Uber Eats, they get all these things delivered to them, which have fees to it because it's convenient, because it's faster. But if Uber Eats gives you the wrong order, if Uber Eats gives you Five Guys when you ordered Rubio's, you're going to be mad. And it doesn't matter what the fee is, you're going to be pissed off because you didn't get what you wanted.
100%. And so going back to the fees and the reason why I built this team, to be honest, not only, it was about 4 months ago, we were at a 3.7. Okay, 3.7, horrible rating when it comes to Google. There should be no reason I should have a 3.7. So we went into and I said, okay, y'all are over this. I want Google reviews and I want to get to a 4.5. Well, in just 3-4 months, and then it's taken us hundreds of reviews, we're up to a 4.1. By December, we should be up to a 4.2, and then we should be up to a 4.5 by next year. And so we have completely done a new campaign that they're over because I don't have time to manage that. If I was managing that, I can't grow. I can't build what we need to build, right? And so I love talking about my team. They do a great job.
Well, and I can tell you right now that someday, if you ever go to sell your company, having a good process and having good reviews is value for your company. Your company's worth more. If I'm going to go buy my competitor and they're at a 1.0 reviews, I know I'm buying very bad owners, crappy doors, people that don't like it, and I'm going to offer a discount. But if I'm going to get a 4.5, 4.8, 4.9 company, then I know they have a good following, they have a good reputation. So it's really important to get good processes, good ratings. It'll bring you more business and it brings valuation to your company in the end.
I think that's what people don't understand. That star rating does bring you business. And I think when we started in the business, we almost felt like it was a lost cause, to be honest. And it was a wrong mindset because it was like, oh, tenants move out and they give bad reviews. Well, that's not really the case. There are a lot of people out there that will give good reviews as long as you give good service. You just have to ask. So that's what the training team has trained my team to ask, to talk to them. Hey, give me feedback. How are we doing? And so we're doing role plays and all that. So we have a training thing every morning for about 15 minutes on something with my team.
And bad reviews in property management will actually bring you business. Bad reviews with the right response, if you respond the correct way, it'll bring you business. You just need the good reviews to counteract. So you're going to get bad reviews. But you need to be like, we're sorry that we kicked you out. You didn't pay rent, so we had to evict you. and we follow the policies and laws of California. It's how you respond. Owner's going to read those bad reviews, and when they see that, oh my gosh, they kicked me out in 40 days and the average is 60 days, and they give you 1 star because you kicked them out so quickly, that's a good review. That's a badge of courage. Put it on your chest and be happy about it. It's when you have reviews that say they didn't answer the phone, they're unresponsive, they don't care. Like, those are the reviews that hurt your business. When the big one is not answering the phone, and then the owner calls, you don't answer the phone with the owner, and they're like, oh yeah, they don't answer the phone.
100%. You have to answer the phone, and you have to have good service. And you can't have good service if you're not charging enough. You can't hire the people you need to hire. So it is all full circle.
And you can't make profit. And if you can't make profit, why should you do this business? A long time ago, when I was in this, back in a survey, it was like maybe 8 years ago, they told me either start charging more or go work at McDonald's because you're making about the same amount. So
it's true. And 9 times out of 10, when I talk to people, a lot of people are scared to charge what they feel like they're worth. And you gotta prove what you're worth. But if you're worth it and you know what you're doing, charge it, and then give the service that you can give. And like you said, people will pay for service. But if they're paying an amount and you're not giving the service, then that's when people get upset.
Well, Andy, you do have the owners that will not pay anything because they're cheap. And those are always the worst owners anyways. They take all your time, they take everything up. So when you get that owner that's like, I will take you for $50 a month, the owner that's also going to not do the repairs, not want to do anything, and they're going to call you every day, and they feel like, you know, they need your personal cell phone and they want to call you at 10 o'clock at night. Sorry, I'm a professional. You're not having my personal cell phone. So we're next topic. I know we got a little off topic, but you got me excited. Talking to you, Tiffany, always gets me excited because, you know, if people don't know, me and Tiffany have been in a mastermind group together for a couple years now. And so I love hearing her ideas, hearing what's going on. So Tiffany, you're going to be doing a topic that most of us are afraid of, but I like to put one topic out there for people to think about something that scares them. And so that's short-term rentals. Why do you like short-term rentals?
I love this business, and it's because it's completely different than the long-term rental business. But not only that, think if you could make the same amount with 50 doors compared to 500 doors. So in the short-term rental business, you can make a lot of money. Now, where people go sideways is they think they can have the same team manage long-term and short-term, and that is not the case. Like, for instance, for one of my clients, in 10 months, I brought him a net $80,000 off of one house. $80,000 off of one house.
Wow.
Not only that is we have multiple cases. We do it a little bit different because we do midterm as well. And we go after the insurance companies, and we rent to insure undisplaced people. So like a fire. So we have clients that are in our properties, sometimes for a year and a half. We do have the very short-term rentals as well, but you can make a lot of money at short-term rentals, and management fees are usually triple, maybe not quite as triple. It just depends on your management fee, but we charge almost triple management fees.
That is awesome. So you're going to be doing that. That is going to be called I don't want to say it's the outlier, but I always like to have one that's, you know, hey, you know, if you're just coming to this for the first time, don't go to Tiffany's on short-term rentals. Get your systems, get your processes done, get that part done. But if you are Chris and Julie Molinex with 1,000 Doors in Indiana or someone like that, or you're coming there, then hey, this might be something you want to look at, because, you know, if you have 200 doors, this might be something you want to be looking at. If your business on regular rentals is going well, then this is the next step to look at. If your business in regular rentals is not doing well and you're disorganized, you would probably suggest that they don't go into short-term rentals till they get their first part more organized, correct?
100%, because short-term rentals, it's processes on crack. I mean, you have to have down to the nitty-gritty of the trash can being taken out and unloaded before the new guest comes in. It's not just, hey, let it ride. It's a whole different ballgame. And when a guest contacts you, it's like, hey, I'm sending out crumble cookies to make sure they know we love them. But it's all about the guest experience. And I love that. It's a different mindset compared to the resident experience, but the guest experience is What can I do to make you love it? And we have a 5.0 across the board. We have not gotten anything less than a 5.0 so far. I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. And your next topic you'll be doing is from farewell to feedback, leveraging technology for efficient move-outs. Unless we switch it to the other thing we talked about. But that's right now, that's the one big thing, or we might do both. Might have you do one day, one the other day. So can you kind of tell us what farewell to feedback, leveraging technology for move-outs, what's that?
Farewell to feedback, is that what you said?
Yes, your move-out process, basically.
Yes, move-out process is very important. Let's be honest, because that's where legal comes in. In Arizona, depending on the state you're in, you have a deposit disposition that you have to get back to the resident within a certain amount of days. And having that process down packed is very important to know when the resident gave notice, when the resident moves out. Otherwise, you can sit on a property vacant a lot longer if you're not on top of that process. And so our move-out process.
The big thing I think you're going to be talking about, though, is how you do feedback. How you use the move-out process to get more Google reviews, correct? That's one of the big things you're going to be talking about, that you have a process for that. Oh, I thought the whole farewell to feedback was Google reviews.
So that's the first time I heard about that name. I heard about, when we talked, it was just move out. So, but
I guess that Wolfgang used ChatGPT to come up with your title, because that's what he probably said, jazz up your title. So I apologize for that. Do you use the move out process to get feedback for Google reviews?
Yes and no. Let's be honest about this. So we use the process to get Google reviews, but it goes into my collection department as soon as they move out. So my collection department does ask for feedback and things like that. Does that make sense?
And then that one, we might be actually switching it to your other topic we talked about, because I do think the other one we talked about earlier in this is so fascinating. And I think that might be something we'll be talking about. The other thing you'll be doing is you'll be on a panel where we have you, Chris Molinex, Peter McKenzie, and I'll be the moderator for it, basically talking about working in versus on your business. So, so many people work in their business, and what we call them is they have a job.
They do have a job.
If they leave, their company fails. If they get hit by a bus, then they don't really have any, they just have to sell their company for parts and get the heck out their family, because they were so vital and the company's going to go under. Where if you got hit by a bus, it would definitely just decrease the growth of your company, but your company could still run, correct?
100%. And that's what I look at every day. What does my company use me for? Meaning, on a daily basis, if I have to be in the office, now I love to be in the office because I get stuff done. That's where my innovation comes from. But do I have to be in the day-to-day? No. And I have overhired strategically for that reason, because I don't want to be in the day-to-day. I want to be able to grow. And around 500 to 600 units is when you start feeling that push of either you've got to overhire to be able to grow, or you got to stay where you're at. So I've strategically overhired. So I am out of the business, out of the day-to-day. I'm not in the lease renewal process. I'm not in the lease process. I'm not in the owner process. I'm in none of that. And I work specifically on my business.
And as I've said to other people, this is having a business and having it run right is a huge retirement option too. I mean, this is a 401k. You have something that's worth value. You have 600 doors, 500 to 600 doors. You have income that you're getting now, but you also have future. So when you can get out of your business and you have good processes, your business is worth more, and you have more security for your family, because again, it's not dependent on you. So that's why it's so important. Even if you have 50 doors, start working at security for your family. I would tell people, and tell me if you agree with this, if they have 50 doors, they should hire a remote person and have one remote person, and start giving that remote person some of the stuff they have. Start working on the processes, because I know when I had 50 doors, it was in my brain. But you have to get it out of your brain so you can grow to 100, 150. I mean, that's just 200
so
and then
backwards.
250. What?
I did that backwards. We didn't really start working on process until like a year ago. Meaning it was in the brains of the people that we had a process. We had it kind of written down. They were in notebooks. but it wasn't where it is today. It's not where it's being built today. And it was in people's heads, and there were exceptions, and it wasn't as, and don't get me wrong, we still make mistakes. And any company that says they don't make mistakes, they're not telling you the truth. Because every company, when they have employees, people make mistakes. I make mistakes. But the important part of it is that it gets down on paper. So back to your question, if your company can withstand it at 50 doors, yes, hire someone. But make sure when you hire them, everything's documented and there's a process, like you said, so that when that person does leave or something happens, that process is very easy to go to the next. And not.
Well, I always had when I started my first hires, I always had them writing it down. And back then we weren't in Lead Simple. We weren't in that. We started with spreadsheets, like basically Google spreadsheets. And I just said, hey, write down what we're doing. Write down what I tell you. So I would video what I wanted them to do. And then I would have them, because I didn't, and this was before ChatGPT when you could just plug it in there to make it. I would video what I wanted to do, and then I'd have them type it up. And I'd have them type up, and then I would look through it and be like, yeah, I think that's what we do. But I didn't type it up because I don't like typing things up. And so they would take what came out of my brain and put it on paper. Eventually we went to Asana, and then that was a checklist. And I remember one of my first employees used to, at the end of the week, she would check off everything that she did. And I'm like, that goes against the whole point of the process. Like, you're spending 3 hours and you're like, I think I did this. And you check off the steps. And I'm like, you're making more mistakes. So I had to get to the point where I was like, you have to have it and use it. Yeah. So it's a fun journey. It's a fun journey. And I'm sure, going at 500 doors, having a team of 4, I mean, it was probably how you got so many processes done so quickly, because you really made it a priority.
And that's the thing, like, I am a little OCD in that. I like things done a little quicker. And so that's why I actually hired the second process architect that specifically works on that, because I'm like, if I wait and I only have one, it's going to take years. Because processes have to change, and when you grow, things change. You have to change it and make sure everybody knows. So yeah, that's why I have as many as I want, because I want it done. And I
got about one process done every 3 to 4 months when I started my process. So I get 3 processes done about a year. So it took me a long time, but I started a long time ago, and it was, there wasn't as many tools out there back when I started on it. And so that's awesome. I'm so looking forward to seeing you. I love hanging out and seeing you. You're an amazing person. And if you come to this event, you are going to spend a lot of quality time with a bunch of amazing people. Tiffany is a giver. She will help you out. This is a small enough event where she's speaking 1 to 25 that you're going to be able to ask the hard questions. You're going to be able to ask what you want to know, because you're not in a room of 150 people. She's going to be in all different rooms that are 25 or less. So thank you, Tiffany. Is there any other last thoughts that you have, or anything else that you want to? You've been to the conference.
I have not yet.
No, not yet.
I'm very excited to go. And I was supposed to go last year, but I actually had an emergency, and that's the only reason why I did not go. That's why I thought you went, because last year I thought, but you've been to Vegas with me for other events that we did. We did planning sessions and a couple other things. So we've been outside all the time.
Yeah. So it's going to be exciting. Let's see you there. And the code for $100 off, Tiffany Rocks. Tiffany Rocks. One word with a capital T. You get $100 off. Sign up today. It's going to be a great event.
Make sure you sign up. It is going to be a great event. Paul puts on a great event. And thank you so much for having me today, Paul, and letting me be a part of this event, because it is next level. We're very excited about it.